Hello coloring friends, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my completed pages for the month of September, but also the last little bit of August when I resumed my coloring again after my long summer's break. So I have quite a few pages to share with you and kind of go over. And so let me go ahead and clear my desk and we'll get started. All right, so I'm starting off with this little PDF printout here from Hannah Lynn's Enchanted Faces. Now, we do have a buddy color group that every month somebody from the group picks the page. This is over on Instagram. So somebody picks the page that everybody's going to color for that month. And this was the pick for September. And so for this page, I based it with Ohuhu alcohol markers, went over the top with Prismacolor pencils. I have lots of white Posca in there for some accents and the clouds. I have a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it in her tail right here. It's the Jelly Roll Clear Glitter Stardust gel pen. And I've also used my black Jelly Roll glaze in the dots here on her swimsuit and her eyelashes, and some little dots of stickles here for these pearls. And yeah, I'm just, this was a good kind of starting back to coloring when I hadn't colored all summer. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this page turned out. I will put a link to our Enchanted Faces coloring group down in the description box below if you are interested in checking out everybody else's colored pages. Everybody does such a beautiful job. It's just a real pleasure being part of that group. So the next page is out of Leela Dooley's The Flower Year. And this was, I think it was my first, was it my first page out of this book? Yeah, my first page out of this book. And actually my first two pages. I did both of these side by side. This one over here was a color along that I followed from My Colorful Country Life. And yeah, Karen did an amazing job. And when I was getting back into coloring, I just wanted to do some simple pages. Typically following a color along really helps with that because it kind of gets my mind back into the groove of coloring and putting combinations together and all of that. So yeah, this was done with Prismacolor pencils, some Tule Art pens in the accents here, and white Posca. Now I did the background of both of these pages with my pan pastels. And yeah, this one also this one is up on my channel. If you're interested, it's, I think I can't remember if oh my gosh, this was like about 6 weeks ago. So I'm trying to remember if I think I might have based with a water-based marker, but I'm not sure. Anyway, if you're interested, it is up on my channel, but Prismacolor pencils, Tule Art pen in the little stamens inside of the flower here, and that pan pastel background. So yeah, my first two out of this book. So such a gorgeous book. But fall and winter are coming, so I probably won't be picking up this book again until spring. Okay, so the next book that I worked out of was Shooting Star by Maria Trolle. And so as soon as I got it, there were so many beautiful, just sweet pages in here. I couldn't wait to get started. I marked some pages that I wanted to do immediately. And I did do one here, which is a color along up on my channel. And this one, just my typical go-to mediums, Neocolor 2 in the background. This one I did base with my Tombow brush pens, water-based pen, so there's no bleed through on the back. And then went over with my Prismacolor pencils and used my white Posca and my white Faber-Castell Pitt brush pen for these fun accents on these flowers here. I just kind of wanted to give it, you know, something a little different that made it a little bit more eye-catching and unique, and I love how it turned out. The next book I worked out of was also another Maria Trolle book. Now this was a buddy color with my dear friend Kim over at Snickerdoodling LLC. I'll put the link to her channel down in the description box if you'd like to check out her work. She does some really fun videos, kind of giving tips and tricks on coloring, and she shows you how to do a lot of color blends. And right now she's doing a fun series of videos called Reverse Color Alongs. Yeah, you definitely have to check out her channel. So this is the page that her and I picked out to do. This owl page here. And so what I did was I wanted to make a black background on mine. So I used my Tombow dual brush pens again to base this page. And I also based the background, then went over the markers with my black colored pencil, which really made it very opaque and kind of saturated, kind of darkened up that background. And of course, my Prismacolor pencils and my white Posca. I didn't use any Tuliarts on this page. But yeah, this was fun. Now, I'll put hers on the screen here, so you can just see how hers looks just amazing. I love how she did that just limited color palette with some kind of muted colors, and we just had very different takes on this page, but I just love the way hers turned out too. It is so fun to color a buddy color with somebody, and you know, everybody has such unique styles and ways that they color. It's just a lot of fun. So thanks, Kim, for the buddy color. The next book I worked out of was Mythographic Wild Summer, and it was, if I can find it here, bear with me. Okay, here we are. This page here, there is a color along on my channel for this page, and what did I use? I used Neocolor 2 for the background, and I think it was just one color. Just one color of Neocolor 2, so that was pretty simple. I based this page with alcohol markers. Yeah, I based it with alcohol markers because it's single-sided, so it just allows more freedom to be able to use other mediums, and Prismacolors over the top. And I also used some gold glitter gel pen. I'll hold it up. You can see here on the sun outline and in her fan. Yeah. And then white Posca pen for all the other accents. So there's that page. The next page is another mythographic out of Cosmic Spirit. Now this page does not have a video. I just kind of did this one off camera. I was experimenting around, And this page was inspired by PNMP44_color over on Instagram. She does amazing pages. She's such an artist. And this page I was definitely inspired by, so I did use her color palette, and she had colored her line blue, and I was like, yep, that's the only way to do it for me. That's how I'm gonna do it. And I was just experimenting with different mediums. Gosh, I pretty much threw everything at this page. I started off using Castle Art watercolors or watercolor pencils, and I did not care for how they worked on this paper. And in the meantime, I ended up getting my Albert Dürer watercolor pencils. So once those came, then I went back over like the clouds here, and the flowers are based in watercolor pencil. Then with my Prismacolors, or was it Polychromo? No, Polychromos. Then I went over those with Polychromos and just gave them a little bit more intensity and shading. I used, so for the lion, I based him with alcohol marker, all the blue. Yep, all the blue here is based with alcohol marker. Then over the top with those Polychromos, and I've used a little bit of fine liners here in some really small intricate parts. Let's see, what else? Watercolor. I used watercolor, a metallic watercolor in these swirls on the page, a glitter gel pen, gold glitter gel pen here. What else did I use? Oh, my Winsor & Newton white ink for the little bit of splatter in well, I was gonna say the background, but it's actually all over the page. My white Posca. Oh my goodness, what else? I think that's it. Yeah, it was definitely I pretty much threw everything at this page. But yeah, just had a lot going on, and I just kind of felt like I wanted to try everything. All right, so that is it for this page. The next book I worked out of was Alien Worlds, and there is a color along up on my channel for this page too. Let's see. It was these Speed Demons here. Right, so I used Neocolor 2s in the background. The rest was all done in pencil, and even the clouds, which I'm just like, oh yeah, you get started and you think, okay, well, I think the shading will be better done in pencils. But oh my gosh, my hand was killing me, and it took me like 2 days to do these clouds. But I do like how they turned out. But in hindsight, next time I'm going to base the clouds with water-based markers. But yeah, so Prismacolor pencils. I use some purple Tuliart paint pen in the wings here for some of those details. I used my clear Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in the wings there. Yeah, that's the Wink of Stella. And of course, white Posca in the clouds. That was like 2 layers to get that line work to be covered up the way I wanted it. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this page turned out. It was exactly how I had envisioned in my head. So I just love that feeling, you know, when something turns out exactly like you had imagined and pictured in your head. It's success for sure. Okay, and the next book I worked out of was Wildflower Folk by Christine Caron. And I think I mentioned in this video that I kind of put off buying this book for a while. I saw so many other colorists out there doing pages on it, and I was like, well, I'll get it eventually. And so I did get this book a while back, and I finally got around to coloring in it. And I had a few marked that I wanted to do, but in September I did this page here. And what I did was I used my alcohol markers as a base, my Ohuhu alcohol markers as a base, so you can see the back here. I love this paper. Oh my gosh, this paper quality is amazing. I love that this paper is single-sided, so you can use alcohol markers to base your pages. And yeah, I just love how this turned out. This again was another one that turned out exactly how I had pictured in my head. So I used Prismacolor pencils over the top, and for the background this time I chose to go with my oil pastels. Now I hadn't used those in a really long time, and you know, I wanted something that was a little bit more opaque and not a water-based medium. Otherwise I would have used probably my Neocolor 2s. But I really like how this turned out. It was really easy, actually almost easier than Neocolor 2s, dare I say. I just used a little like makeup, oh, I have one right here, like a little one of these makeup applicators to blend it out in the background, and that worked like a charm. I mean, it was so easy. So I will definitely be using my oil pastels more for future pages for sure, and definitely in this book. It was just so easy. And I used just a couple Tule-Art paint pens for some details on the leaves, and my white Posca and my white Faber-Castell Pitt brush pen here in the wood highlights. And yeah, this page turned out really nice. You guys all know that I am trying to finish Seasons eventually. It's been my project book since I think early 2003 was when I started making it kind of a regular addition to my monthly coloring pages. And I try to do 2 a month. Sometimes I get to 3, but then sometimes I only get to 1. So, and then I thought I was going to be able to finish it by the end of this year, 2024. But with my extended summer break, that really set me back. So I think we're looking at finishing it sometime in early 2025. So yeah, I have a lot of double pages to do in this book though, so I kind of been putting those off, and yeah. All right, and so this was a page I did at the end of August, and there is a color along. Actually, there's a color along for all the pages that I did in here in August and September. So yeah, this was August's project, and actually this came really quick because there's really not a lot of detail here. And when I do a watercolor background, that goes really quick. So I used my Kuretake Art Nouveau watercolors, and I think then there was one color, the indigo blue, was thrown in from the Assorted Colors set of also Kuretake watercolors. And then I went around the outside of the page with my Distress inks in, I believe it was Black Soot, kind of a soft black color just to kind of give it more of a vignette around the page. I oftentimes do that. I just think it helps bring everything together and look more cohesive. So yeah, Prismacolor pencils, Tule paint pens, and stickles here in the stamens of the flowers. Tule pen on the highlights of the leaves here. I used a gold glitter, I think it was my gold glitter Sparkle Pop gel pen on the dragonfly here, both on its body and wings. Oh, and in these ladybugs right here. So yeah, I love how this page turned out. And this was a page that I was inspired by a kind of a fantasy art page that I found on Pinterest. Yes, Pinterest is your friend. I find so much inspiration on Pinterest. It's unbelievable. Okay, oh, the next page was this page here. This is an old page that I did in 2019. Don't look at that. If I could do this over again, I totally would. Anyway, this is the page that I also did this month. And we have here Neocolor 2s and of course Prismacolor pencils, my gold glitter gel pen. Oh my gosh, you guys, I go through so many of those gold glitter gel pens. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know if you can see it here in the building accents, and Tule Art paint pen on the outlining the flowers and in the butterflies. And oh, also Tule Art paint pen on the leaves and the greenery. Yeah, so lots of Tule Art paint pen actually. And yeah, I love how this turned out. This was another inspiration from Pinterest. I believe it was another colorist's artwork, but it was like for the color palette that was done on another page. And so I kind of incorporated that same color palette that I really liked and put it onto this page. So yeah, that is it for that page. And one more page out of Seasons. Here's this one here. I called it Twilight Stroll. And yeah, this one was based with my Tombow brush pens and over the top with Prismacolor pencils. And I did some, you can see in these mushrooms here, there is some, I think it was a blue or purple. I think it was a purple gel pen, but it comes across as blue. Yeah. And Tule Art paint pens, again, for the outlines of pretty much all of this. What else? I think that was it for this page. Yeah. White Posca. But those are, you know, staples for my pages these days. So I love how the cat, yes, so for the cat, I based it with my water-based brush pens, the Tombow, but also one of my Arteza water-based markers, because I knew I wanted to make this cat black. And rather than going in and doing layer upon layer with my Prismacolor pencils, I found that for me, what works best is the layer of marker first, and then going over with some basic shading with my Prismacolor pencils, and then the like first strokes over the top with the pencils again. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks fairly, I mean, I wasn't aiming for extremely realistic, but maybe like semi-realism here. Because it is a fantasy page after all. All right. And the last book I worked out of, I was itching to color a mandala because it had been so long since I colored a mandala. I usually do a couple a month, and I usually color my mandalas with my markers. I have all different kinds of markers that I like to use, all different brands, I should say. And this page, I used my Arteza Twee markers, which are definitely a go-to for my mandalas. Now let me see if I can find the page. Okay, so here is the page that I worked on this month. There's actually going to be a speed coloring video on how I did this, but it probably won't come out until probably another week or two, because I have a bunch of videos lined up that I want to show before I get to that. But I decided to go ahead and show you guys the page here today, you know, because it was something that I did back in the end of September. And you can see here I used the color palette from the Sarah Renee color cubes, and it is not exactly a color match, but I did the best I could with the markers that were in that set. I believe it's the 100 marker set from Arteza, which is found in my Amazon storefront if you are interested in checking those out. I do like those markers, however, I'm not super impressed with the nib on the end. It seems to fray fairly fast, and it could be because I'm using it. It probably is because I use them pretty much exclusively in my Amazon paper books. But I do really like them. The colors are super vibrant. And yeah, I really had fun with this mandala. So do check out that video when it comes out. But yeah, you can see here, I also used quite a bit of that gold Sparkle Pop gel pen. But yeah, I love how this one turned out. And it's a combination of just block coloring and with a little bit of shading thrown in a couple areas. So yeah, and that is it. Okay, and so for October coloring plans, many of you saw that I had a couple polls on my community tab over this last weekend, asking you all what pages you would prefer as color alongs out of a couple of these books. It was out of Wonder Morphia, well, actually just Kirby Roseanne's. This is a compilation book. So I had picked some Kirby Roseanne's pages and some pages from Hannah Carlson's Tales from the Witch's Cottage. And so I wanted to share with you which one won. So these are the pages that I will be concentrating on for color alongs in October. This page here won the #1 position in the poll, which I asked all of you. So this was #1, and #2 was the Witch with Potions. Sorry, I should have, oh, here it is. Okay, and this was #2. So I will definitely be coloring this one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be starting on this one right away. And this one is a maybe if I get to it page. This month is going to be kind of crazy. I do have to go out of town for like a week. So yeah, that's going to set me back a little bit. But I will definitely be getting to this page here. And the page that won out on the Kirby Roseanne's pages was this page here, the Jack-o'-lantern page. And this Raven page was a second. It's also in this book here. So I'm going to do them both out of this book, Wonder Morphia, because it's single side. Here it is. because it's single-sided, and I might be basing, especially this one, I might be basing it with alcohol markers. But if you don't have the single-sided copy of this page, because it's in, I think, a few of his books, you can use water-based markers if you want to follow along. So those are the 2 pages that went out here. So like the Hannah Carlson, I will be doing this one for sure, and maybe perhaps this one second if I have time. Also for seasons, I thought while I'm showing you, I'll go ahead and show you. The page I have picked out for October is this page right here. And I was kind of experimenting with some color combinations on my scrap piece of paper here. Kind of thinking about going with this color palette. It's kind of a nice fall color palette. Yeah, I'm not sure, but just kind of messing around with how I want to approach this page. And I think I'm going to be possibly using Dura Inktense, possibly my Tombows for basing, and with a little Prisma over the top. I'm not sure yet. So that will be a for sure page in October as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thanks for sticking around with me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.